And welcome to Yin Yoga, so nurturing yourself in winter. So my name's Gayle. If you've never tried Yin Yoga, think of it as gentle stretching with a little bit of relaxation in as well. Winter time, we think about the coldness and the stillness of winter, and the image in Yin Yoga is of a cold blue stream. So I've set up my little area here, and make sure that you go at your pace. And you might want to have some music on, and mat or cushions. If you've got a bolster or blocks, that's really great as well. If you find that any of these poses is painful or difficult, that's not really the point of Yin. So make sure that you do feel comfortable at all times. Respect your body. So our first pose, and we're holding it for a while, it's called Sukasana. So it's easy cross-leg pose. I always laugh because I don't find this very easy, but let's have a go anyway. So there's lots of ways to do this. You might find that it's even better to sit on the edge of a chair. And all we're doing is just settling in, and we are here for quite a while. So while we're sitting, a little bit about finding comfort. You'll see that I am moving around. I'm just trying to show some options here. You might not need an option, or maybe it's an idea to just have a bit of a look. So again, even though I'm not sitting in crossed legs, you can see that my spine is nice and tall. And that's what I'm after. This is a really nice way to come about it because I can actually hold my knees with my hands. And I'm just, again, sitting up tall. I'm on a cushion. And maybe it feels nice to have the cushion under your knees. Again, that tall spine. So in Yin Yoga, I should say, we are finding the pose. Think about your muscles. And a lot of people come straight into that full stretch. And that's okay as your starting point. But in Yin, we try to retract. So just melt back a little bit. So imagine stretching and then pulling out of that stretch until you're about only 50% into the stretch. So we are not working with muscles at this point. We're working with the fibrous connection of connective tissue. So think about sensation around your joints rather than sensation in the muscles. Sensation in the back, the hips, the shoulders. Sensation in the knees or the ankles, maybe your elbows. Connective tissue holds these joints so that they are stable enough that your muscles can move freely. They also wrap around the muscles, providing some security as well. The way to access connective tissue is to put slight sensation, so slight stretch. But if there's too much stretch, then you'll find that they will stick and you won't be able to release and relax. Imagine that you felt so safe and so relaxed that you could let go. So even while we're still in this position, and I have timed it for 5 minutes, this gives us plenty of time to come into the pose and then start very subtly trying to relax, trying to let go. And winter is a time for letting go. letting go of all the coldness and the freezing and being at home and maybe not so great a day. Spending a time to nurture your body, to nurture your mind, and just let go. The image that we started off with was the cold blue stream. Imagine that this stream of water had rocks in the middle of it. And so you almost got a sort of a banking up feel. After a while, the water will wear away the rocks, even though it's fluid, even though it's soft, just like yin yoga. After a while, given enough time, we will come into softness and flow. The rocks will wear away and we will get a flowing sensation. So coming into Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Again, we're going to hold this pose for a long time, 5 minutes. Now you might start to bring your feet right into the groin. You can see that I was moving my hips. So think about the bowl of the pelvis, the top of the pelvis, and see if you can gently tip the top of the pelvis forward while keeping the back straight. Start off with your familiar muscle stretch. Might find a stretch on inside thighs, maybe the low back, and then you're going to spend at least 5 minutes exploring the feel of Baddha Konasana. So here's some variations if you need them. If you don't need them or you find a variation that suits you, come into stillness, coming into the joints, noticing a very subtle sensation. So if your back or your knees, for example, screaming in pain, not yoga, not even hatha yoga. If you can feel a strong sensation and it's uncomfortable, the edge of your pose, then you've really gone a little bit too far. Pull back and play with your pose until you've reached the halfway mark. Once you feel safe enough that you can only just feel sensation, then use sensation for your meditation. Keep coming back to it. Keep assessing, keep noticing, and you might be able to just let go of tension, letting go of the things that are no longer required. You might feel tension in the hips, maybe in the knees, shoulders, or maybe the neck. There should be no muscle tension whatsoever. And after a little bit, you might find that there's a feeling of almost a second stretch, and that you feel that you could, well, I'm just putting my head down in my hands now, relaxing the neck and the shoulders. Maybe you might find a little extra space in the knees or the ankles. Feel in and notice where you can let go. Letting go of tension. Just completely relaxing. Imagine that the rocks in your stream have been pushed to one side or worn down by the water, allowing the flow to resume. Flowing cold water of winter. We think about this flow in terms of circulation in our body. Circulation in the tummy, in the bladder. As at the end of each pose, Slowly come out of the pose and really do take your time. We are quite vulnerable when we're coming out of our poses. So use your hands for support and find your way gently to your back and see the difference. See if you can still feel where you were placing sensation or energy, awareness into your body, even though it's totally relaxed. We call this a rebound. Just lying back, relaxing, and again, see if you can let go. You might find, because you're in a different, more relaxed position, that you can let go a lot more, really allowing the shoulders to just release tension. Maybe you notice now that there was tension in inner thighs or in the hips. Maybe you were clenching your hands and you didn't even realize it. We're not breathing in any particular way, just noticing the body, focusing on where you feel the most tension, and maybe using the out breath, or maybe just allowing the body to feel safe and connected to the mat, letting go of tension. So we're now coming into Utthita Balasana, extended child's pose. You often see children up on their knees, relaxing back. I'm protecting my knees with a couple of cushions. You might not need that. I've got my knees apart and my ankles together, coming on down to the elbows, maintaining a nice straight back, just enjoying the natural curves without pressing down and making an arch. A couple of suggestions here. This may feel a little bit much on your knees, or maybe on your neck. If it feels okay, stay right here and begin your exploration of the body. Maybe the hips, maybe the shoulders. And so here I've extended the arms right out. Or maybe it's too much on your knees. So I'm coming into more of a melting heart. The hips are up. You'll see that there is a natural arch in the back. Maybe that feels okay for you too. Spend a moment trading off a muscle stretch for complete joint relaxation. Another option, maybe it's just a little bit of too much of a stretch on the back of the neck. And so you can build up a little bit of a platform with a cushion or maybe 2 fists under the forehead. And here's my favourite, 1 hand up and 1 hand down. Maybe 2 hands down feels good for you. If you've got it right, if there is perfect balance, you may be able to completely relax here, letting go of any tension. And you'll only be able to do that if you focus and if your body feels safe enough that the tendons, the connective tissue, the protective mechanisms around the joint just loosen up, soften, allowing circulation to flow. It's often quite hard to breathe in this position. And think about breathing into the back. Just normal, everyday breathing, nothing exciting here. But noticing where you can find softness as you breathe in, and allowing the body to just breathe out naturally, breathe out normally. reminding yourself to just let go. Coming out of this pose slowly again. Take your time and make your way gently onto the back. Maybe you need to have a little bit of a wiggle before you turn. It depends on what your body needs. And you are in charge of your body. So in this rebound, lying on the back, and you might have legs stretched out, or maybe with me bent, or maybe having that cushion underneath the hips. Take a moment and just notice now where you feel that you've been able to release and relax. Can you feel any tension that's still in the body? We're not talking about muscles, we're diving in deeper, deep within the body, into the very connective tissue. Noticing where we're still carrying tension. And with every breath out, noticing if we can release and let go. Winter time is a time of self-nurturing. We need to nurture ourselves at this time because in the warmer seasons, we start to become more active. If we're active all of the time, there's no chance to repair, re-nourish the body. Let's come into happy baby pose, Ananda Balasana. So when you're ready, slowly make your way up. We're going to come into a supported happy baby pose. This may be too much for your low back. So remember, you're in charge, and these are simply options. So I've got my hips against the pillows, and you can see that there's just a gentle curve in the back. Holding on to the inside of each foot, happy baby pose. But there are lots and lots of options. For my back, it enjoys this shape, but I'm terrible the other way in a back bend. So maybe you need to take those pillows right out of it. Maybe it feels good to hold on the outside of the foot. Maybe the back of the calves feels good for you. Maybe holding on at the back of the thighs. I've just interlaced my fingers. Finding a spot where you can begin. Going for that muscle stretch, low back, back of the thighs. But then noticing where you can release joints. Relaxing the neck, relaxing shoulders. Allowing that connection between the body and the mat. Once you've found your little tight spot, give that your full attention, tending to and nourishing that blockage in your meridian. And that's what we're talking about with the analogy of the blue stream. The blocks in the blue stream representing blocks in your energy lines in the body. In winter, we're talking about the back of the legs and the back and the front of the legs and the front of the torso. Here's another lovely option. I'm simply cupping my knees and allowing the weight of my legs to straighten the arms. But can I relax the shoulders and the neck at the same time. Giving this pose all of your attention. Noticing where you keep returning, switching on muscles that are no longer required. Coming in deeper and deeper. Coming back to sensation in the body. After a little bit, you might find that the tension has disappeared. And it's okay to find another little spot. Or maybe deepen your pose until you get to a new halfway mark. So in Yin Yoga, we are always moving, constantly moving, in stillness. And again, another winter theme, moving without moving, stillness and nourishment. Just a chance to notice the body. And now coming back into the rebound. So arranging the pillows however you would like. For me, I'm testing out whether it feels okay to have no pillows at all. And I have a preference for a pillow just under the top of the thighs. That feels really good for my back and it feels good for my legs. You might need a pillow underneath the knees just to maintain that softness. Shavasana. So we've been using Shavasana as our rebound pose, and now we're setting up for a little bit of relaxation meditation. Recall now where you felt the most tension and use the next few moments to just breathe. And I'll see you next time. Namaste.